Hi everyone, Coach Sipho here, and this one is for those who are saying,
I have learned how to move all the chess pieces, but how does one actually win?
From this tutorial you are going to get an overview of how the chess games usually progress from the beginning to the end. So without wasting any more time, let's dive into it. In order to clearly see how the games of chess progress, you need to understand one thing. The game of chess is divided into 3 stages, and those stages are referred to as the opening game stage, the middle game stage, and the end game stage. On each and every stage, there are certain tasks that you need to accomplish. For example, in the opening game stage, you need to accomplish 4 tasks. 1. You need to develop your minor pieces ASAP. 2. You need to control the center. 3. You need to do castling. 4. You need to connect your rooks. Now we are going to give a brief explanation so that you will understand why accomplishing these 4 tasks is so important. Starting with developing your minor pieces ASAP. Okay, first of all, we need to understand what are minor pieces. When we talk about minor pieces, we are referring to the knights and bishops. Knights and bishops are referred to as minor pieces. The rooks and the queen are referred to as major pieces. As you can see that they are big and heavy. So they are referred to as major pieces or heavy pieces. Now, in the game, when the game starts in the opening game stage, you want to activate your minor pieces first. So this would be the best way of playing the opening. You can put your bishop here or here, depending on your future plan. So, as you can see that I've developed all my minor pieces. But you will notice that I did something wrong. Bishops cannot jump. But what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that you need to develop your minor pieces ASAP and avoid by all means moving a lot of pawns, of which is the biggest mistake that beginners do. Beginners like moving pawns. They even make beautiful patterns with pawns. So please avoid moving pawns in the opening. You need to develop your minor pieces because they are strong enough to invade in the opponent's territory and attack that king, the opponent's king. So since bishops cannot jump, you need to move as few pawns as possible. Only those pawns that are opening the way for the bishops. For example, you can play this pawn, take out the bishop, play this pawn twice or once, develop the bishop. Now you have developed all your minor pieces. This is how you play the opening. 2. You need to control the center. Now, when we talk about controlling the center, we mean are taking these 4 central squares. These 4 central squares are referred to as the center of the board. So, for example, this knight could go there or there as its first move. So it is better to move the knight to f3 than to h3, because when it is on f3, it is controlling these 2 central squares, meaning black cannot just place any piece on those squares, since white is controlling the center. Another reason for controlling the center is because when our pieces are closer to the center, they can go to any side of the board. If they are needed on the queen side, it will take it few moves to go to the queen side compared to if you had placed it on the side. So pieces closer to the center can go to any side of the board in very few moves. That is why we need to control the center. 3. You need to do castling. Castling, I hope everyone understands how to do castling. So when we do castling, we move our king 2 squares towards the rook. It is the special move for the king, and the rook jumps over to the other side of the board. We do castling so that we can put our king in safety. In most cases, when players play, both of them understands the importance of the center. So there are usually battles in the center. And in most cases, these central pawns end up being exchanged, leaving the central files open. And if you could compare these two kings, it is clear that the white king is safer than the black king. So that is the reason we do castling, so that we can protect our king with these 3 pawns here instead of leaving it in the open. So you don't have to wait until the center is opened before you do castling. Just do castling because this is what you need to do anyways. Another reason we do castling is so that we can be able to activate this rook. Remember, we don't develop rooks on the side because they could be just captured. We develop our rooks in the center. When you do castling, you are preparing the development of that rook because later on it will come to the center. Now, I hope everyone understands why we need to develop our minor pieces ASAP so that we activate our soldiers. Why we need to control the center so that we locate our pieces where they will be able to get to any side of the board in very few moves. And we also need to do castling so that our king will be safe. 4, we need to connect our rooks so that they will be able to protect each other. We connect our rooks. Connecting our rooks means moving the queen so that the rooks will be able to see each other if they had eyes, or so that they will be able to protect each other. After connecting the rooks, the last thing you will do, you will centralize the other rook. That's how you play the opening. So in most cases, you don't even think about an attack in the opening game stage. Opening game stage is mainly about getting your soldiers ready, developing your minor pieces, right? Make sure your king is safe, because how will you even attack if your pieces are not activated? Now, there are many different openings out there. They are called with names. For example, we have English opening, Caro-Kann defense, Queen's Gambit, Rai Lopez. There are just so many openings. But you don't have to remember all these names. There's only one thing you need to know. All these openings obey to one fundamental rule. And that is, it doesn't matter what opening you play, you need to do the 4 things that I've just told you. So from now on, you will be able to play any opening, even if you don't know it. Just keep those in mind, those 4 tasks in mind. When the game starts, it is the opening game stage, and you want to accomplish those 4 tasks. Okay, let's go to the second stage of chess, and that stage is the middle game stage. In the middle game stage, the main plan is to attack. Remember, in the opening, we activated our pieces. Now our soldiers are ready to invade opponent's territory. They are ready to attack. So the main plan in the middle game is to attack. There are 3 possible directions where you will direct your attack. You could attack on the king side. King side is from the king going that side. Or you could attack on the queen side. Queen side is from the queen going that side. Or you could attack in the center. The center is these 2 files. So when you attack in this area, we say you attack in the center. Now an attentive student might ask,
which side do you recommend I should attack on? What are we actually attacking?
Well, it depends on 2 factors. 1, it depends on the type of the center that you have on the board. There are 5 different types of the center, but that is a topic for another day. It is an advanced topic. So I don't want to confuse you. I just want to stick to today's topic. It depends on the type of the center. Now, according to the type of the center you have, you will know on which side you should attack. And I'm sure as soon as I upload that video about the 5 types of centers, you will understand these types of centers, and you will know that if I have this type of center, I should attack on that side or that side or that side. But that is a topic for another day. The second factor is that it also depends on the position of your pieces. For example, if you have 5 pieces on the king side and most of your opponent's pieces are on the queen side, that means you have more soldiers on this side of the board that you could use to attack, and the opponent has fewer soldiers to defend because most of the opponent's soldiers are on the queen side. So that is another hint that you should attack on the king side. Now let's go to the end game stage. The end game stage is that part of the game where there are very few bigger pieces left on the board. And when I'm talking about bigger pieces, I'm talking about these pieces. So there are less bigger pieces remaining on the board, and there are usually many pawns. So in short, the end game is mainly about pawns. So let's talk about pawns. Let's start with your pawns first. In the end game stage, there are 3 plans. With your pawns, you want to push them to the end of the board so that you will be able to transform them into bigger pieces. That's plan number 1. Plan number 2, you need to focus on your opponent's pawns. Of course, you don't want your opponent's pawns to get to the end of the board, because they will become bigger pieces, and those bigger pieces might checkmate you. So as for opponent's pawns, you want to prevent them from coming to you to the end of the board. You want to capture them. You want to capture opponent's pieces. With your pawns, you want to push them to the end of the board. So those are 2 plans. Push your pawns to the end of the board, and you want to capture your opponent's pawns. When you capture your opponent's pawns, you prevent them from promoting to bigger pieces. 2, you also clear the way for your own pieces. For example, this pawn cannot go to the end of the board because this pawn is still here. So it won't be able to get to the end. So when you capture opponent's pawns, you are not only preventing them from promoting, but you are also clearing the way for your own pawns so that they will be able to get to the other side of the board and become bigger pieces. 3, after promoting your pieces, you will have bigger pieces, and you want to use those bigger pieces to checkmate your opponent's king. So let's summarize these 3 plans in the end game. You want to push your pawns to the end of the board and promote them into bigger pieces. 2, you want to capture opponent's pawns so that they don't become bigger pieces, also so that you can clear the way for your own pawns. 3, you want to checkmate your opponent's king, of course, after promoting your pawns into bigger pieces, since pawns are unlikely to checkmate. Those are the 3 plans in the end game stage, and they are in no particular order, meaning you can go for any plan or you can go for simultaneous plans at once. Thank you for watching this week's tutorial. This channel is committed to uploading at least 1 video per week, so we have so many instructive chess videos, such as an end game series where we teach you how to checkmate with a single rook and the king, how to checkmate with 2 rooks, how to checkmate with 2 bishops and the king, and so many other end games. We'll also teach you chess from the very beginning. The most recent video we uploaded, which has many views, is how to do en passant. So if you are committed to improving your chess, please consider to subscribe and click the bell notification so that you will be notified as soon as we upload our videos. By the time I'm recording this video, we're on 97 subscribers, and my immediate goal is to hit that 100 subscribers. So I would really appreciate it if you would smash that subscribe button.